So how do trees mature? How do trees age? I'm here at the wonderful Bowthorpe Oak in Lincolnshire, and this tree is over 13 metres in circumference. It's thought to be at least 900 years old, but as the centre has rotted away, it's hard to age it. It could be much older than that. It's the largest intact oak tree in Britain. And the way in which trees grow is through two different processes. There's what's called apical growth or primary growth. So this is stems growing upwards. The other way is through radial growth or secondary growth. And this is under the bark here, there's a layer of living cells which takes nutrients up and down. But then every year this layer dies and becomes heartwood, the dead wood in the centre of the trunk, and is replaced by another layer further out. So each year there's another layer, and so the trunk gets larger and larger. And then once the tree gets mature, sometimes because it's diseased or it's damaged or there's drought, it will then undergo a process called retrenchment, where it reduces the sizes of its branches. And if you look up there, you can see some trunks that are growing up that have died. This is through the process of retrenchment. And sometimes you see this as what they call stag-headed oaks. So you have a stag's head, a trunk that's dead, sticking out from a lower oak tree. So oak trees often get lower as they get older through this process of retrenchment. So how do trees decay? Well, there are three processes. The first process is branches get damaged. So you can see here, this branch has come down and in doing so has damaged the tree, and then fungi will get in and water will get in, and there'll be some rotting that will take place as a result of the damage of this branch breaking off. The second process is through the bark being damaged. So the farmer tells me that this is actually pig damage here, and so the bark has been removed and the material underneath has been exposed, and then fungi, etc., can get in. And the third process, and really the most striking process, is to damage through roots. So you can see here, there clearly was once a root here that's decayed away, and then because it's damp, there's next to the soil, water can get in, fungi can get in, and then this will rot away, and this will rot into the heartwood in the centre of the tree. And just as another example, here, the farmer tells me that in his youth, then he can remember a donkey going through this. So this used to be much wider, and what happens is the tree tends to cover the damaged wood with woundwood. So there's a big thick layer. This is fresh bark that is put on in order to cover the wounded tree. So it's to try to reduce the damage. And sometimes that's effective. Very often it isn't. So if you look at the centre of most old trees, you'll see that the centre has rotted away. So water and fungi have come in through the damaged roots, rotted the heartwood, and then insects have done damage. You can see all the beetle holes here. There'll be fungi and bacteria will be rotting away, lots of invertebrates digging away through this. And so the centre of the tree has rotted away. And some argue that this actually is much stronger because there's this, it's a shorter tree, there's this core of wood around the outside, and that's a stronger structure and less likely to blow over. And then you can actually go in the center of these trees. So here is the center. And this was actually used as a dining room in the past. And there was actually a door here. And you can see here, this was where the door was. And you can see there's 1/2 meter of woundwood here that's grown since that door was removed, so that the tree is trying to protect itself. And then you can see in the center, there's this great mass of decaying wood. And you can understand why oak trees are so important and so diverse. So you can see up there, there's fresh green material, there's dead wood, some of which is hot, some of which is very cold. There's sawdust on the ground. So over 2,000 species of invertebrates, so that's insects and the like, will occur on oak trees. And many of those are associated with dead wood. So old oak trees are really important biologically, but also say that they're very important culturally. If you think this is, say, 1,000 years old, so that's just fabulous. You can see there's all sorts of importance associated with it. And I'm really glad that this is so well looked after. Strongly recommend you come and see it. I think it's one of the most striking trees I've ever seen in Britain. Really impressive, really beautiful, fabulous old tree. People talk about there being 3 phases of an oak tree, that it grows for 300 years, it matures for 300 years, and it dies for 300 years. So this tree should just about be dead. But you can see, although it is showing lots of signs of age, it's actually surviving very well. There's lots of good growth on this tree, and it's being looked after in the way it's being looked after. I see no reason why it can't survive for many centuries to come. I certainly hope so.